Welcome to Jesus Bible Study. We are going to be in the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verses 8. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication of your mouth. And I'm going to repeat that. But now ye also put off all of these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication of your mouth. See, it does say in the scripture that we are a new creation. When Christ calls us home, when we've come back to Christ, whether we was in it, backslid, or was raised as a child in church, then as we got older didn't have nothing to do with it, then came back, or we have always been in church, or we have never even heard of Christ before, and all of a sudden he just picks us and takes us home. Whether we're new, old, young, whatever, we will become a new creation. We're not automatically, like a snap of the fingers, automatically just new creation. We will become a new creation. And a lot of people, a lot of teachers, preachers, and churches get this wrong and automatically tell you that you become a new creation. That hurts people. How does it hurt them? Because it causes many of people to fall away. Because they have this mindset where they have been taught, now you shall be a new creation. Now you shall do what God says. Now you will be a law-abiding Christian. That gives no room for falling. That gives no room for correction. That gives no room for mistakes. Now these people have this mindset that we should automatically, no more curse, no more do all the things that we do. No. That's not so. In fact, we're supposed to come to God just as the way we are. And as we walk with God on our journey, the closer we get to Him, the more He starts chipping away of our old selves. The more our flesh starts to fall off, to where we slowly begin to be walking out of our flesh so that we can fully walk in our spirit. There's a lot of churches and preachers that won't accept people that come into their church to look the way they do, or to still drink, or to still smoke, or to do this. They're treating it as this is I don't know what you want to call it. I can't find the correct word right now, but I do know that we're not supposed to treat it that way, because this is what it is told to be. The church is God's hospital. It is for the sick. That God takes you as you are. That He only is out there for the sick. For the healthy don't need a physician. Only the sick do. And that came out of Jesus' mouth Himself. But yet, there's people that treat their congregation as if they already need to be completely 100% healed. That is wrong. In fact, this verse says we need to put off all blasphemy. And in doing so, in those actions, we are committing blasphemy against God's own words, where He has called the sick to come to Him so that He can fix them. There's many people who tell you need to go home and you need to quit this before you come here, and you need to be righteous and you need to be holy before you come before God. That is not true. That is not biblical. That is a lie. A lie. Come as you are. That's what come as you are means. Come as you are sick. A lot of people take that for granted. You know, here's a shame. They're taking that literally as come as you are, that they can come dressed to church however they want to. Oh, God don't care. You don't have to wear this and you don't have to wear that. You just come as you are. That is true when it comes to a sinner. If it's a prostitute and all she has is prostitute clothes, then she needs to come to that church wearing those clothes. She needs to come as she are. until God is through fixing and healing her and changing her mind, changing her ways. For if she has come to God and she is no longer prostituting herself, then how is she supposed to get more money to buy new clothes? She can't do that immediately. It's going to take some time. Those people, the sick, have a right to come dressed as they are. But those of you who've been walking a minute and you just put on any old thing just to come to church, shows lack of respect for God. I'm not saying you have to go out there and be paying top dollar for this and that. No, I'm not talking about wearing name brand this and that. I'm talking about giving him the respect that he deserves to make sure that I'm going to look good for God, because he deserves my respect. And that doesn't mean that he has to be top notch. It just means what she's like, oh, I love this. This is my favorite thing. It doesn't matter if it's a flannel shirt and your best pair of overalls. God sees your heart and he knows that you love that. That is your favorite, and you seem to be, that is fitting because that is your best, that is your favorite. See, there's a difference. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But those of you who just throw on any old t-shirt, just throw on any old pants, don't take no care. If you don't care for that particular item of clothing, and then you're just going to throw it on and go see God because you don't care what you're wearing in front of him, it's like a bad offering. It shows lack of respect. There's a difference as to come as you are. Wearing your best for God does not mean that it has to be dressed to the nines. But it does mean putting on your best for God. And not everybody's best, not everybody has the same kind of bestness. Because just like I said, this is my favorite shirt. I love it. And I just love everything about it. You just really. And so you want to wear your favorite, to wear your best for God. Doesn't anybody else do that? You see, many of you will just throw on any t-shirt and any old thing. Oh, God says, come as you are. But you will go up to that bar. You go out with your friends. You'll go to that movie. And you'll go drag out the best just to please other people. Shame. And that's what I mean by that. That it's not okay for you to do that. You think it's okay to go out there and to put your best foot forward, going to such things that has nothing to do with God, but yet when you go to pay your respect to God, you don't care what you're wearing. You're just going to put on because God don't care what I'm... No. He truly don't. But he does see your heart, and he sees the lack of respect. You can give that respect to other people who don't deserve it, but you can't give your respect to God. There's a major difference. When it also comes to walking with God on our journey, it's going to take some time for those of us who used to curse all the time. So sitting there telling people that they're going to be immediately a new creation, that they will no longer curse, they will no longer have these addictions, they'll no longer drink, they'll no longer smoke, and if those who do so ain't welcome in your church, God isn't done fixing them yet. God is not done working on them. They should still be just as welcome because God is still teaching them and God is still learning them. And to tell them that they should already be fixed of those problems is a lie. It's blasphemy. Not everybody in the whole world is just like that as a new creation just because you accept Lord as your Savior. If that was the case, then he wouldn't need to be fixing anybody. Everything would already be done. We would all be angels. we'll be all walking that that path would not be narrow. It'll be wide as a 5-lane highway because everybody will be on it. Just like that. But that's not the way it works. And this is why it's very important. We got to be very careful of teaching that automatically that we become a new creation in God. We all have some work to be done. And the reason why I made it such a point about the dress code, so to speak, because there's many of Christians who have been Christians for a minute. And yeah, you may not have that many sins, you may not have those addictions, but apparently you don't have the respect. That's why I said that. See, you're letting your pride and your arrogance because, oh, I don't commit these sins because I've been on my walk longer with God. I'm not as sick and I'm a better Christian than this because I no longer have that problem. I don't have no addiction. I come to church. I do my Bible study. Where's your respect for God? I see many of y'all that is lacking the respect, as if God does not deserve your respect. See, we're not all automatically, no matter how long we've been in there, boom, a new creation. We all have to work on something. And most of the people today that call themselves Christ followers and Christians lack the respect that God deserves. But you want to make it a point to point out all the people who still have to get rid of this and need to get rid of that. Don't you worry about them. See, God's still working on them. They're still new. You, my friend, have no excuse. At least they have an excuse. They're sick. But you have that pride and that arrogance about yourself, thinking there's nothing that needs of you that needs to be fixed. Pride and arrogance need to be fixed real quick. Your respect level needs to be fixed real quick. See, we're not a new creation. We're not going to be that transformative new creation until God calls us home. Because until Jesus comes, until the day of Judgment Day, when he transforms us into our new glorious bodies, then we will be the new creation. Until then, God is working on us. Each and every single one of us, no matter if we're a baby, we're new, we've been old, we all have some work to do, and we'll continue to keep working on us until he comes, because there's nobody going to be fully walking in their spirit until they are no longer being held as a vessel in the earthly flesh body. There's no way. So as long as you have this flesh body of a vessel, you would still always be needing to be fixed, to be healed. You are still sick. And God is still working on you. You are not a new creation. God is working on you to become his new creation. It says so in the scriptures that on that day we will be transformed into our new glorious bodies. God is still working on us. Some, it takes different levels of lengths of time than others. Some doesn't have a lot to be worked on. Some has very few. Some has very much. But it's not for us to judge, to say who's right and who, oh, well, you know, I'm better than you because I have less to work on. No. Actually, if you have a problem with saying and thinking that, you have way more much to work on than the people who has 20 million addictions. Because pride and arrogance is one of the toughest of sin to overcome. In fact, you're more closer to Satan than you are to God. Because pride and arrogance was the number one thing of the reason why Lucifer, the fallen angel, became Satan. So you better watch yourself. It's a very thin line between being a child of God and a child of Satan. And half of you got your foot on the other line, believing that you belong to God, yet meanwhile you're walking on Satan's line. We all need God. We all need him to continue to keep fixing us, correcting us until the day he comes. For we are just simply trapped. Our spirits are simply just trapped in this fleshly, earthly vessel. Each day we are to deny ourselves. Each day we are to kill a part of our flesh until the day that Jesus comes. We all need to be healed. We all need to be fixed. And we're all sick and in need of Jesus' help.